Hello, knockouts. Tanya TKO here. And what a weekend, huh? Over the weekend, a video dropped of a male whipping and lashing on a 13-year-old girl in the street like a prostitute who owed him money, while a bunch of people behind the camera were hurling a barrage of curse words and insults at the young lady, of which they took this video and uploaded it to the internet. If you haven't seen my prior two videos, please take a look at those. I talk about the corporal punishment versus abuse aspect of it. But this morning I woke up with a question on my mind. And the question was, and I want to pose the question to you all. So I'm going to show the video after we drop the intro, and then we're going to talk about this full-fledged. The question is penis the worst thing that can happen to a female?
You 13, ho? You wanna be a woman? Put it on Facebook, let them know, bitch. Video that hustle noise. Ain't no okay, man. Now you sad because you know you ain't grown, bitch. Think you a woman, get your motherfucking ass here.
Okay. So by now you've had a chance to see the video, and so basically, just for a little bit of backstory on it, this male is somehow related to this young lady. According to sources, the young lady had gone missing for 3 days, and when they found her or saw her, she was dressed provocatively. So they turned on the camera, jumped out the car as he began to beat and lash on her, while the people behind the camera hurled curse words and insults at her. Okay. So I put up the video initially, and then after that I did a follow-up video talking about the abuse aspect of it. There are two parts to that. So take a look at that. I'll put the link below, or you can come over to my website, tanyatko.com. The link to my website is always down at the bottom of the video. You can come to my website and you can take a look at both parts of the video that I made in response to this. And I talk a lot about corporal punishment and some of the alternatives to that style of corporal punishment. And we're going to do a live show the day after tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, and we're going to get together and hash this out in the open. I'm going to pose this question right now. Is penis the worst thing that can happen to a female? And if so, until when? One of my concerns is that there's not a proper... Let me just get the board out. Okay. So let's talk about penis real quick. Okay. All right. Penis worst ? Because there were a lot of people who were talking about all of the things that could happen to this young lady while she was out there. A lot of people were concerned about her becoming an HOE. And I think the fact that we're using terminology to describe a person or a female who engages in intercourse with more than one sex partner or multiple sex partners or sex partners before marriage, or it really varies from person to person whether or not they would deem this person a hoe. What makes a young lady a hoe? If she's had one partner, two partners, five partners, and then five partners over what span? Because I see some of these celebrities, like I remember they were calling, what's this lady's name? Jennifer Lopez. They were calling her a hoe because she had, to their knowledge, dated 5 men or over the course of maybe 5 years or something like that, and that wasn't acceptable to them. So we hurl all of this language out at young ladies, arresting and seizing their sexuality, never really giving them a chance to really let it blossom. And I want to kind of, I want to talk about penis, right? Is penis the worst thing that can happen to a young lady? Now, the young lady in this video was 13, right? Okay. We can all admit 13 is a little young to be engaging in intercourse for a lot of different reasons. Your body's not fully developed. Your mind is not fully developed. You may get caught up emotionally. You may get pregnant. Okay, so we can understand that you may not want a 13-year-old out there having intercourse for those reasons. 13 may be a little young. 14... also young. Around what age? They say the average young lady has intercourse at what age? 16, was it? The last time I checked, but that data could be old. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's say 16. So at what age does penis not become the worst? Let's say some people still think 16 is a little young. Maybe 18. At that point, they're old enough to vote legally in this country. Some people may even think 18 may be too young. Let's say 21. Okay. So at 21, you're legally able to drink. By 18, you're already out of the household if you've gone to college. Listen, at 13, 16, you've already gotten your menstrual cycle. 18, you're able to vote. 21, you're legally able to drink. My concern is that once a person gets to this age, 21, that we've spent so many years telling them penis is the worst thing that can happen to them, that when they become 21, this has been ingrained and they've been indoctrinated into this belief that penis is the worst. So at what point do we sit our daughters down and say, you know what, I was just joking. All of that was a lie. Penis is great. At what point do we wait until they get married then for their husbands to be like, oh no, penis is supposed to be great? See, one of my concerns is that we're spending so much time drilling into the minds of young ladies that penis is horrid, penis is bad. Once penis touches you, I wrote down some statements, right? We tell young ladies to stay away from penis. Keep penis away from them. Don't let, whatever you do, don't let penis inside of you. Stay a virgin. And then I'm going to say this. What is the highest insult? The highest insult that you remember grade school, high school, maybe even in college, the highest insult you could tell a young lady or even a young man. What was the highest insult? Think about it. Here we go. Suck my highest insult. So how do we go from fellatio? Walk with me now. How do we go from fellatio being the highest insult? Putting a penis in your mouth is the highest insult you can bestow upon another person. Just a form of just degradation. Just insult. Look at my face. Suck my. Just the highest form of insult. When does that then in turn turn around and a person get into a committed loving sexual relationship? At what point does now penis become this glorious phallus? And I think that there are a lot of dysfunction, a lot of sexual and spiritual dysfunction going on in our society, where we, on the one hand, tell young ladies that penis is the worst thing that could ever happen. And I mean, it's like, what do you think? Okay, worst thing that can happen? You know, everybody develops at a different stage. This 13-year-old young lady, I don't know what has happened to her in her life and in what stage she is in her life. But if she feels that she's ready to engage in intercourse, right? If she feels that she is developing, listen, I'm sorry. Personally, I think she's already had intercourse. That's what I think. I think she's already had intercourse. So walk with me down this mental visualization, right? Okay. So she was gone for 3 days. You see she's dressed provocatively in some sort of little skimpy outfit, right? All right. Now imagine that she was out there with somebody penetrating her with their penis, right? Okay. Now imagine her walking back home having been penetrated, and then they jump on her and they do whatever it is that they do with her. Okay, now imagine her out there doing that. Now flip the scenario around and imagine that she were out there with a girl of her own age, and they were rolling around bumping beavers. Now imagine the same feeling that you have about this young lady. I don't know why I said bumping beavers. I'm trying to be professional. Imagine they were rubbing vaginas together. Imagine they were out there rubbing vaginas together. Do you still have the same level of disgust for this young lady, so much so that you feel that she deserves to be whipped and lashed and beat had she not been penetrated? So it's like we come from this culture where we pervert penetration, so that we think that penetration is the worst thing that can happen to a young lady. But if she were out there rolling around not being penetrated, then then she still has some of her worth and some of her value. Speaking of worth and value, right? This young lady, whatever it is that she's gone through in her life, she feels that she is that she is worth that outfit, that outfit and that type of behavior is what she's worth. So how do you teach a young lady that she is worth more than that outfit, that her body is worth more than that, by beating, thrashing, and pummeling her body? Not only that, by whipping her with objects, hurling harsh words and derogatory terms at her. How do you let her know what it is that she's worth? It's like, okay, so you feel that she's worth more than walking around in the street like looking like what you would consider to be a prostitute, but yet you beat her and whoop her down in the street like a prostitute. So how do you tell somebody, okay, well, you're worth more than looking like a prostitute, but you beat and whip them and lash them and cuss them down like they're a prostitute? Because that male that I saw in the video, that's not the from looking at the thumbnail, it looked like a pimp whipping on one of his HOESs. Okay, so listen. Part of the issue, pull the board out again. Part of the issue with this perception that we have, and you know what, forgive this video for being all over the place. Okay, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. I'm trying, but it's all over the place. I know that. All right. Part of the problem is that we have half of the population. Half of the population, we tell them vagina is the best thing that could ever happen. Oh my God, vagina came down from the sky. Vagina is like is a little bit of nirvana. Yes, vagina is nirvana. So we got half of the population feeling vagina is nirvana, and then we have the other half of the half of the population feeling that penis is the worst. That penis is dirty, penis is disgusting. Once penis touches you, you got the scarlet letter on your forehead, you're tainted. Once you've lost your virginity via penetration. Because you see, part of the issue is that we don't talk about sexuality. We don't talk about we don't talk about what it is that's the issue with sharing mixing your commingling your spirit and your vibration with another person's energy. We don't talk about that. We just talk about don't let penis in your vagina. So much so that we got girls, young men, whomever out there who are participating in anal sex, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm still a virgin even though I've had anal sex. And we have people who are sucking penises and filleting and climaxing with other young people, and they're like, oh, okay, well, it's okay as long as I didn't let the penis inside of my vagina. All of that is okay. Sucking penis is okay. I'm still a virgin, and all this, that, and the other, right? When virginity and sexual activity, it's the lack of knowledge of being engaged in that type of interaction that creates the virginal air. It's not, oh, I've been pumped in the butt, but my vagina is untouched, so yeah, I'm still a virgin. That's not what it is. You know, it's the knowledge of sharing in that type of intimacy with another person. But part of the issue is that we have half of the population talking about vagina is the best, other half talking about penis is the worst. Then we got the whole penetration is bad. Just don't penetrate on this end, but on this end penetration is good. So we got this side trying at all costs to avoid penetration. We got this side trying at all costs to engage in penetration. And then we got mixed messages coming from the media. We got mixed messages coming all around us. On TV, in music videos, in commercials, in ads, we got everybody's like, sex is good. Oh my God, sex feels good. You see the exciting images and the pumped up bosom and and the glistening skin and the sweat, and these music videos they're writhing around and they're singing about how they saw the moon, the stars. They had a song out like that. Remember? Last night I made sweet love to you. I saw the moon, the stars, all this other stuff. Oh, sex brought some moon and some stars and all this that everybody's singing about. But then on the other hand, we're like, oh, sex is good. Vagina is great. And penis is bad. So we have this. So we have all of this, all of these contradictions in our society. Meanwhile, let me ask you young ladies out there, because I know how sex was taught to me. And I know the ideas that were pummeled into my mind. Let me just ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. At what stage does somebody sit you down and say, oh no, penis is great? Go out there and have a functional sexual relationship now, after you've been taught for so long that penis is wrong. At what stage do we sit our daughters down and say, okay, no, now? It's like we have to find better ways to talk about intercourse and intercourting. All right, so, I wanted to say this. I wanted to make sure that I said this before the video ended. That not only do we teach our girls that penis has no worth, but society-wide, not only is penis worth less, but penis has negative worth. So much so that a person will pay another person to take their penis. Can you imagine? You pay another person to accept your penis into them. So your penis has negative value because you have to give away money in order for someone to take your penis. And these are the ideas that we have going on and around in our minds. And you know what? There's a part of me who blames religion. Sorry to have to say it like that. There's a part of me which blames religion. It's like religion comes in and it assigns all of this negativity to sex and sexuality. And then, if you look at societies which are untouched by religion, if you look at the indigenous societies untouched by religion, do you have what you quote unquote hoes in that society? Do you have, listen, answer the question. Do you think that you have young ladies that sit up there? First of all, do you think there's the village prostitute where there's a young lady like, oh yeah, give me some coins, I'll give you some vagina? Do you think that really? Come on. It's when we start assigning negativity to people who consensually engage in intercourse that we have these dysfunctional things that exist, like all of this sex trafficking, all of this this idea of people being whores and hoes. When you look at the indigenous societies, they have very functional ways of, some of them even have penis ceremonies. You know what, way back when. And you know what, I'm going to say this before I get off the video, right? I saw this, I remember Alexis K. Tyler did this video where she was talking about, I might even try to put a little clip of it in here, where she was talking about how penis is a very magical, a very spiritual tool, like a heat-sinking missile that really gets in there and does what it needs to do. Now, some of you who have had protected sex and some of you who have had unprotected sex know and understand that there's a, whoo! You want to talk about turbocharged, there's a very big difference. Oh my God. Very huge difference in the feeling between when there's a prophylactic covering the penis and when the penis is exposed and touches you, even a touch of the penis on your thigh or leg. Good God Almighty. There's some power in the penis. There really is. And I need to do more research on that. But it's like, you know, we subvert and we pervert and we beat down our sexuality and our natural sexual inclinations that we make that we God, first of all, we are society-wide disrespecting the penis. We really are. Penis has no value in our society. It has negative value. You can tell in the difference between the way a person says, if a person says, suck my D, that's an insult. If I tell someone, eat my nani, oh, it's an invitation. A nice one at that. So nonetheless, I'm going to get out of this video, but I want us to have a dialogue about this. I want us to have a dialogue about what's really going on and about different ways that we can heal and mend our sexuality between the sexes. Penis is not the worst thing that can happen to a young lady. And if there is a person who is 13 years old who is adamant that she feels that she is ready for intercourse and she's proven that she's going to go out there and have intercourse with or without your approval, what are your options? At that point, you might have to give her some prophylactics. You might have to meet this young man. You might have to have a conversation with what's going on inside this young lady's life. And you might have to create a structure where she can have, you know, I'm going to say this one last thing and I'm going to get out of here. When I was about, I'd say maybe 11, right? My father gave me some sherry. He gave me some sherry and some brandy. He let me taste these alcohols at home. And guess what? When I went to college, guess who was the only person who was teetotaling? Me. I was not out there in college drinking. I was the designated driver for everyone. I was the sober person because I was never taught that alcohol is this bad, horrible thing. You stay away from alcohol. I was given alcohol at home. I saw that it was no daggone big deal. And even to this day, I mean, I didn't even have a drink on New Year's. I can't even remember. I've had 2 bottles of champagne in the back waiting for a special occasion. Haven't even popped those open yet. Last time I drank was sometime last year, and I had some champagne. And you guys know I love a little bit of rum every once in a while, you know. But other than that, I don't even drink. Because there was no, and like I'm saying, you know what, we assign these attributes to sex that actually send people out there roving, thinking that it's so doggone great, thinking that it's so like you're trying to hide some big prize from them. So that's my whole video. Because when I got to college, because I had been introduced to alcohol in a structured and mature professional or in a mature, loving environment, there was no need for me to go wild out when I was out there. There was no reason for me to wild out. And it's like you're saying that sex or penis or whatever is so bad out there that you would rather beat this girl down than for her to have access to some penis. But what if she'd like vagina? You gonna beat her down because she likes vagina? I can guarantee that people's idea about her being with another girl or not being penetrated is a little bit softer than her, you know, than the idea of her being penetrated. And we need to look at ourselves as a society and why we have such negative opinions towards penis. Let me get out of here. Hug me. Oh, I love you all so very much. All right. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, what? Love yourself. Love yourself. And if you've come from an abusive environment and you have dysfunctional ideas about sex and intercourse, take some time to cleanse yourself. Tell yourself that it's all right. Own your sexuality. Problem with nowadays is that, well, girl sexuality is public property. So that people feel that they have the right to pass judgment and make judgments about what it is that she's doing with her body. I'm going to get out of here. Let me get out of here. My website is right here, TanyaTKO.com. Come over and stay up with me and answer the question. I'd love to see all your answers below. And if you made it to the end of this video, I want to hear you say, I will own my sexuality by, and then write in the comments how you will own your sexuality, because it took me a long time to own my own, and I'm not even sure if I fully own it. Because you know what it's like when I say that a woman's sexuality is like public domain, for some reason people feel that they have the right to come over and tell me what to do with my bosom. Grown woman, miss. I'm a grown woman. You're going to come and tell me that I don't need to have my cleavage out? Who are you? Because I know who I am. Listen, I'm out of here. Tanya TKO, and I'm out. Peace.